Good evening, everybody. This is fondly known as the graveyard shift, I think. The last presentation, you've been very patient. The good news is that I'm not really going to talk about hardware or software or processing power or bits, bytes, RAMs, LANs, networks, or servers, but maybe share some experiences that we've garnered over the last 3 years talking to educators and talking to teachers and being in schools across India and the rest of the world. Just a very quick bit about who we are. We're eSchand Harcourt. It's a global educational partnership that brings together the expertise of eSchand, a renowned company in India, Horton Mifflin Harcourt, which is a well-established global player in the K-12 space, and EMPGI, which is a subsidiary company in Ireland. But basically, it's 3 global experts with 200 years of combined experience, and we're educators, we're not technologists. The subject, the role of e-learning to enhance subject-based learning. Well, I think, first of all, you have to take a balanced approach here. There's no right and wrong solution. I think some of the other speakers alluded to that you can't over-egg technology. But how we approach the issue is to understand that any e-learning strategy, and it must be daunting to be at this event if you're a teacher considering this area, because there's so much choice in front of you, which technology which I use, which content, etc., etc. So maybe just to simplify that, I suppose to understand our role is to empower the teacher to create better learners. That's a single objective. In talking to teachers, I think we've come up with sort of 8 golden rules to effective e-learning, which I'm going to share with you very, very quickly. Number 1, if you look at global research on education, the single most important factor driving student performance is the quality of the teacher in the classroom. Therefore, we have to empower that teacher to improve that performance. Simple and obvious. Number 2, we have to appreciate the pressure on schools and educators. We know that teachers are busy. We know that they're dealing with lots of different issues in terms of administration, in terms of new curriculum. So we have to appreciate those. There's no point in developing an e-learning solution if it's going to further complicate the life of a teacher. Number 3, we have to be clear that we're meeting the needs of the teacher. They need to engage and motivate students. They need effective presentation of content. They need flexibility of use. They need varied resources and strategies. They need their own professional development. They need to be able to meet the needs of different students at different times, at different levels. At the same time, we need to be able to meet the students' needs, and obviously the audience in this room is very familiar with those. You know, the word engagement comes up. We need to engage students. We need them to be interactive. We need to transfer knowledge. We need to assess them, etc., etc. Number 5, we need to be clear what the benefits are to the students. We need to make sure that there are increased levels of engagement and learning achievements. We need to allow for different pace of learning. We need to allow for single class, for single student and multi-class learning. There's a whole raft of things that we need to consider in terms of what is our e-learning solution going to deliver to students. Again, in terms of teacher benefits, if you understand the pressures that teachers are under, well, then you're going to be able to deliver a solution that simplifies the life of the teacher and helps them in this, what we call this blended approach. I don't think you can separate the teacher from the technology or the content. You need to understand that you need to blend these 3 elements together. Number 7, any program, if it's going to be effective, needs to have a strong pedagogical basis and needs to be curriculum mapped. And the programs that we developed are a combination of behaviorist and constructionist theories such as Bloom's, Gartner's, Dale's, Gagne's, etc., etc. So there's a strong pedagogical basis to the program. And last but not least, you need to be able to provide flexible implementation of options. There isn't a one-size-fits-all. Different schools have different needs, different scales and different budgets. Therefore, you need to be able to deliver a solution that gives that sort of flexibility and recognizes the different needs. So, just in summary, to successfully use e-learning to enhance subject-based learning, we believe that you need to have a blended learning approach, so that's teacher, technology, and content. You need to have the highest content that's pedagogically sound. You need to be able to use technology in an appropriate way. You need to have a good management system so that teachers can manage classes, students, assessments, and you need to have strong training and professional development. So, thank you very much. And any